The next topic we'll be covering is the Azure Role-Based Access Control. So Azure Role-Based Access Control helps you manage who has access to Azure resources, what actions they can perform on resources, and in what scope, which are the areas they have access to. Role assignments are the way you control access to resources. By assigning a role to a security principal, like a user, group, service principal, or managed identity at a particular scope, you define who can perform what actions on which resources. A role assignment consists of these three elements: scope, role definition, and security principal. There are four fundamental Azure roles, which include owner, contributor, reader, and user access administrator. Azure RBAC includes over 70 built-in roles. These roles are designed to serve many common use cases and range from broad to very specific permissions, such as virtual machine contributor or network contributor. Scope is the set of resources that access for the role assignment applies to. Scope access controls at the management, subscription, resource group, and resource level. Assigning a role at the management group level inherits it across all associated subscriptions and resources. At the subscription level, it applies to all resource groups and resources within the specific subscription. A role assigned at the resource group level affects all resources within that group. At the resource level, a role assignment applies only to that specific resource. A role definition is a set of permissions that determines what actions can be performed, such as read, write, or delete on various resources. Roles range from broad, such as owner, with extensive management permissions, to specific, such as virtual machine reader, with more targeted permissions. Azure has built-in roles, and you can define custom roles. This table shows the four fundamental built-in roles. The owner role has full access to all resources, including the right to delegate access to others. The contributor role can manage all types of Azure resources, including the ability to create, update, and delete, but can't grant access to others. The reader role has the ability to view existing Azure resources, but can't make changes or grant access to others. The user access administrator role has the ability to manage user access to Azure resources, including granting and revoking access, but can't create, update, or delete resources. A security principal represents the identities requesting access to an Azure resource, such as a user, which is an individual who has a profile in Azure Active Directory, a group, which is a set of users created in Azure Active Directory, a service principal, which is a security identity used by applications or services to access specific Azure resources, or a managed identity, which is an identity in Azure Active Directory that is automatically managed by Azure. So that's an overview of Azure Role-Based Access Control.